And Microsoft is the latest tech giant to come under scrutiny amid reports that the company was collecting voice data from users and giving third-party vendors access to that information. This coming on the heels of new revelations about Facebook. Multiple reports saying the world's largest social media platform hired contractors to transcribe audio from voice chats. New studies released this week also spotlight privacy concerns with popular dating apps and Bluetooth technology. So how can Americans protect their personal information, and how should Congress respond to privacy concerns? Let's discuss this with Morgan Wright. He's a cyber terrorism analyst and senior fellow at the Center for Digital Government. So Morgan, first of all, tell us how these tech giants are collecting and using our information.
You know, Arthel, with our own permission, I mean, it is a self-inflicted wound. People got to realize when it's free, you are the product being sold. So all of your conversations, all of your data are being harvested by what they call FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. And this stuff is being translated into dollars. And Microsoft is not the only company doing this. And it seems to be fashionable. Hey, well, we're transcribing, or we're taking your data too, listening in on your conversations and transcribing it. So this problem is far more pervasive than what it seems, and there are more companies doing this, not just the ones we're talking about here. So this is a big problem in the tech industry. But
still, are they violating privacy restrictions? And if so, why does their surveillance continue?
You know, that's the real question right there. Do they violate privacy restrictions? On the other hand, I'd say it shouldn't take a computer science degree and a law degree to figure out what these guys are doing with my information. They couch it in legalese. They make it very difficult to understand under product improvement, or we're doing this. They don't come out and be very transparent and say, here's what we're doing. And then when they do get caught, they go, oh, well, we're going to modify what we say. I think it's got to be very clear, Arthel. They have to tell you, hey, we're going to use your conversation. We're going to have humans listen to it. We're going to transcribe it in order to do X, Y, Z. And by the way, we need your permission before we do that. When they start doing that, then there's really no defense from our side if we allow them to do it. But right now, it's all it's smoke and mirrors.
But is that where Congress comes into play?
Yes.
I mean, can they say, listen, create some laws that say you have to make it very plain, very clear, just as clear as it is that you can swipe left or right?
Absolutely. And it starts off with litigation, then we get regulation, and now I think it's the time for legislation. In other words, the same way the European Union came out with the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which has struck fear into a lot of companies. There's huge fines involved with data breaches and privacy breaches. I think government has to get involved and say, guess what, we're taking over, because privacy is really about policy. It's what you can collect and what you can do with what you collect. And so we should be very prescriptive about what you can do, and you have to make it clear, Arthel. It can't be, like I said, hidden in a bunch of legalese. It has to be very clear to say we do A, B, and C with X, Y, and Z. It's got to be so clear a third grader could understand it. Right now, it's a Harvard grad that needs to interpret this.
So, but is there any way to protect your private information moving forward, or is it just too late? The tech giants already have the information.
Well, a lot of them have information, so there's a couple things you can do. One is to realize is that there's no such thing as private unless you do encrypt, and it's end-to-end, like WhatsApp does that, Signal does that. It's up to the consumer to really understand, is it really encrypted or not? Are they looking at it? Make sure you turn on your privacy settings. Look, I say no to any time anybody wants to put cookies on there. It's a pain in the rear, because you have to click on all of these different sites. But you've got to start taking some affirmative action to quit letting people harvest all your data. Look, at the end of the day, it is caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. But I want it to be a fair fight. Right now, it's not a fair fight because, again, it's all the legalese, it's all the language. You've got to make it easier for me to be able to comply with my wishes, not your wishes.
Here's a question. Would the servers and hard drives of those tech giants be a target for cyber terrorists?
Oh, you betcha. As we saw in 2016, and we'll see again in 2020, the Russians, the Chinese, everybody's going to be looking for new ways. While we're still fighting yesterday's war, the Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, all of our adversaries are looking at new ways. And that includes going after, as we just saw what Eric was talking about, ransomware attacks against government. A huge target right now. Now these ransomware attacks are also getting into cloud services, things like Amazon and Google, and also going after, can you imagine locking up all of Facebook's data, what they would be willing to pay to get that back? So you bet they are a prime target for this kind of stuff.
But you say, wrapping up here, Morgan, you say that Congress should do something. I mean, unfortunately, when we expect Congress to do something, it doesn't happen very quickly.
And we got people questioning Mark Zuckerberg who didn't even know how Facebook makes money, and the response was, well, we sell ads, Senator. So we have to have some people making laws that understand the things that they're regulating and not leave it to staffers in the industry.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about this because this is not going away anytime soon.
It's not, no.
Unfortunately. Morgan Wright, nice to talk to you. Thank you.
You bet, Arthel.